Summary of Because of Winn Dixie by Kate DiCamillo. When 10-year-old Opal goes to the local Winn Dixie grocery store one night, she sees a big, ugly dog running around the produce section. Opal gives the dog the name Winn Dixie and claims that he is hers to keep him from going to the pound. She takes the dog to the Friendly Acres trailer park, where she lives with her daddy, who is known as the preacher. Opal tells Winn Dixie that she and her daddy just moved to Naomi, Florida, so that her dad could become the preacher at the Open Arms Baptist Church there. Because he spends so much time thinking about his job as a preacher, Opal calls him the preacher. She also thinks of him as a turtle who hides in its shell when sad things come up. Winn Dixie does a good job of making an impression on the preacher, so he lets the dog stay. Winn Dixie needs a bath, so Opal takes him outside. She tells him everything she knows about her mama as she cleans him. It's not much. Mama has been gone for 7 years, and the women at church say that the preacher still hopes she'll come back. Opal wants to know more about her, but she is afraid to ask. Winn Dixie responds by raising his eyebrows and sneezing, so Opal agrees to ask the preacher for more information. Opal does that when she goes back inside. Opal asks the preacher, to her surprise, to tell her 10 things about Mama. He says that she was a fun-loving woman who liked to tell stories and grow things. She was also an alcoholic and didn't like being a preacher's wife. Mama loved Opal. That's the last thing he knows. Opal says that Mama still left her, but the preacher tells her that Mama actually left them both. Opal goes to her room to study the list and remember it. Winn Dixie fits right in with the family right away. He goes everywhere with Opal and the preacher, even to church. If he's left alone, he howls. When he goes to church for the first time, he catches a mouse, which makes everyone cheer. During the silent prayer, Opal tells God that she's lonely because none of the other kids want to be her friend, and she wants to tell Mama the story of how Winn Dixie caught the mouse. Opal spends a lot of time at the library during the summer. Winn Dixie stays outside and looks in the windows while she waits. One day, Opal hears a scream and finds the old librarian, Miss Franny Block, hiding because the bear came back. Opal figures out that Miss Franny is talking about Winn Dixie. She tells the old lady that he's just a dog and brings Winn Dixie inside so they can listen to the story about the time a bear came into the library. When Miss Franny is done telling the story, she says with sadness that no one else is still alive who remembers what happened because all of her friends have passed away. Opal suggests that she, Winn Dixie, and Miss Franny become friends, which is how Naomi became her first friend. When a girl named Amanda comes in with a pinched face and asks for another book, Miss Franny gives Opal a wink. Opal decides that Winn Dixie needs a collar when he starts to look better. She goes to Gertrude's Pets and picks out an expensive red leather set, but the worker, Otis, refuses to work out a payment plan with Opal. Instead, he agrees that Opal can work for the group by cleaning the shop, but only if Gertrude the parrot likes Winn Dixie. She does, which is surprising. Opal runs into Sweetie Pie Thomas, a 5-year-old from church, outside the shop. Sweetie Pie says she loves Winn Dixie and wants a dog just like him. She also invites Opal to her party in September for her 6th birthday. Opal feels happy. One day, 2 boys named Dunlap and Stevie ride behind Opal while she rides home from Gertrude's Pets. She thinks they look like babies with bald heads because they shave their heads in the summer. Winn Dixie runs away and jumps over a gate into a weedy garden. Stevie is sure that the witch is going to eat Winn Dixie, so Opal insults the boys and goes into the garden. She finds Winn Dixie eating peanut butter out of an old woman's hand while she laughs. She doesn't look at all like a witch. She says her name is Gloria Dump and offers to make a peanut butter sandwich for Opal. As they eat, Gloria tells Opal that she is almost blind and needs Opal to tell her everything about herself so she can get to know her without being able to see her. Gloria gets the whole story from Opal. When she's done, Gloria says they should plant a tree to see if Opal is as good with plants as Mama. Gloria doesn't know what the tree is, but she calls it a wait-and-see tree because it doesn't look like a tree. Gloria tells Opal that she can always come back. Winn Dixie wakes Opal up in the middle of the night by crying and banging his head on her bedroom door. It's storming outside, and he's scared. The preacher wakes up when she lets him out of her room. Winn Dixie runs after the preacher and knocks him down. Then, Opal and the preacher sit down and watch Winn Dixie run around the trailer. They talk about how Winn Dixie has a pathological fear of thunderstorms, but the preacher insists that they need to keep Winn Dixie safe because he might run away by accident. Opal loves the preacher because he said this and because he wants to protect Winn Dixie. Opal gets to work early on her first day. When she goes into Gertrude's Pets, she sees something strange. Otis is playing guitar for all the animals, who are all out of their cages and listening carefully. When Otis sees Opal, he stops playing, and chaos breaks out in the shop. Opal and Otis try to put the animals in a cage until Opal tells Otis to go back to playing. Opal puts all of the animals away when she has once again tamed them. When they're done, Otis says that he lets the animals out on purpose because he's been locked up before and knows how it feels. Opal thinks that the preacher wouldn't like it if she worked for a criminal when she's done. Sweetie Pie meets Opal outside and asks if Otis is a magician. She saw him charm the animals. As Sweetie Pie runs ahead to tell her mama about Otis, Opal wishes she could tell her own mama everything. Opal goes to Gertrude's Pets, Miss Franny's, and Gloria's every day. Every day on the way to Gloria's, Dunlap and Stevie make fun of her, so Opal always gets there tired. Gloria says that Opal is taking things too personally and that the boys might want to be friends. Opal is still not sure. Gloria can't get glasses strong enough to let her read anymore, so Opal tells her a new story every day. Opal tells her one day that Otis is a bad guy, and she asks if she should be afraid of him. In response, Gloria takes Opal to a tree that has bottles of alcohol hanging from it. She says that the bottles are the ghosts of all the bad things she's done, and she admits that she was once an alcoholic and drank the contents of every bottle on the tree. Gloria says that even good people have done bad things, and she says that the most important thing she learned is that it's different for everyone. Opal looks at the tree for a long time and wonders if Mama has a bottle tree too. Miss Franny sometimes has fits, and when she does, Winn Dixie tries to make her feel better. Opal thinks that he comforts Miss Franny just like she comforts Winn Dixie, but Opal is worried that no one comforts Gloria. She decides to do it herself by getting Gone with the Wind from the library and reading it to Gloria. This makes Miss Franny tell Opal and Amanda the story of her Civil War-era great-grandfather, Litmus W. Block. He was happy to fight for the cause, but he quickly learned that war is hell. When it was over and he went home, he found that his whole family had died. When Litmus realized he wanted candy, he made a promise to make the world a sweeter place. He moved to Florida and opened a candy factory. The company made Litmus lozenges. Opal and Amanda both get candy from Miss Franny. Both of the girls agree that it tastes good, but also sad. Miss Franny says that sadness is the candy's secret ingredient. Usually, children can't taste it, so both girls must have felt sad. Amanda looks like she's about to cry, says it reminds her of Carson, and runs away. Opal doesn't understand why, but she takes candy for all her other friends anyway. She decides to wave at Dunlap as she walks to Gloria's. He also waves. Gloria likes to listen to Gone with the Wind because it reminds her of when she was a child and she ate Litmus lozenges. When Opal gives the preacher a candy that night, he seems to pull away from her and says the candy tastes melancholy. He tells Opal that he talked to Dunlap's mom and Stevie's mom, and that Opal needs to apologize to them for being rude. When Opal asks, he also tells her that Carson was Amanda's 5-year-old brother, but that he drowned last summer. Opal stays up late because she thinks that life is a strange mix of happy and sad things. The next morning, Opal gives Otis a lozenge. He cries because it tastes like being locked up. He explains why he went to jail. He wouldn't stop playing music on the street, and when a police officer tried to stop him, he hit the officer. Opal knows that Otis is just sad because he is alone. Sweetie Pie throws up her candy because it tastes like being alone and missing her dog. Opal thinks everyone is sad and alone. As she reads about Scarlett's barbecue in Gone with the Wind that afternoon, Opal says that throwing a party at Gloria's is the best way to fix everything. Gloria agrees to be the host, but only if Opal lets Dunlap and Stevie come. Even Amanda says she'll come to the party, but Opal has to promise to work for free for a week to get Otis to agree. Gloria shows Opal how to make egg salad sandwiches and a punch. They also use candles and crepe paper to decorate her garden. As Stevie and Dunlap are still missing, the guests arrive and awkwardly greet each other. As soon as Otis gets there, it starts to thunder and rain hard. Opal was so busy getting everyone and the food inside that she forgot about Winn Dixie, and now he's gone. She doesn't want to talk to Dunlap and Stevie when they come over. Gloria tells Opal that she can't keep anyone from leaving, but Opal and the preacher leave to look for Winn Dixie anyway. As they look around town, Opal makes a list of 10 things about Winn Dixie. She knows, though, that a list can't really say much about her best friend. When the preacher says they have to stop looking, Opal says he isn't trying hard enough to keep Mama from running away. The preacher says he couldn't keep her and starts to cry. The preacher finally tells Opal that Mama won't be coming back. He says, though, that Mama left behind one important thing, Opal. When Opal and the preacher go to Gloria's house without Winn Dixie, everyone is singing. Opal is angry until Gloria finds Winn Dixie hiding under her bed and sneezing when Otis plays his guitar. While Opal and the preacher were gone, everyone got along. Opal goes outside to the mistake tree and tells Mama that she won't think of her as much in the future, but she knows that Daddy will talk more about her in the future. Then she checks on her wait-and-see tree and sees that it's still small, but it's stronger. Dunlap helps her get up, and then he and Amanda go back inside with their friends to sing songs and eat Litmus lozenges.
About the author. DiCamillo was born in Pennsylvania, but when she was 4, she moved to Florida with her mother and older brother because she had pneumonia all the time as a child. Her dentist father didn't stay with the family. After that, DiCamillo went to the University of Florida to study English. She got her degree in 1987 and moved to Minneapolis in 1994. While working at a book warehouse in Minneapolis, DiCamillo became interested in children's fiction. Her first book, Because of Winn Dixie, came out in 2000. Since then, DiCamillo has written a lot. She has written more children's books, chapter books for beginning readers, picture books, and short stories for different collections. The Tale of Despereaux Flora and Ulysses both won Newbery medals, and Winn Dixie was named a Newbery Honor Book. DiCamillo's home is still in Minneapolis. Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.